textiles and cloths in ancient China. The first descriptions of the medical and intoxicant properties of the plant are to be found in the ancient Chinese herbal Pen Sao, around 1 to 2 century AD. Classical myth relates that the Chinese deity Shen Nung tested hundreds of herbal materials in a series of heroic experiments in self-medication and agronomics. So potent was this myth of the etiology of medicine that the god's name was attached to the Pen Sao. This herbal pharmacopoeia describes hundreds of drugs, among them cannabis, which was called Ma, a pun for chaotic. This ancient text clearly describes the stupefying and hallucinogenic properties of the plant. Pharmacologists and herbalists added sections to the text for many centuries, and Chinese physicians used cumulative editions of Pen Sao as the standard text on medical drugs for hundreds of years. Shen Nung, the farmer god, became the patron deity of medicine, with the title Father of Chinese Medicine. Ma, often mixed with wine in a preparation called Ma Yao, was used principally for its pain-relieving properties. Although there seems also to have been some use of the drug as an intoxicant in China, this never became widespread. In contrast to China, the use of cannabis for its psychoactive properties was known by the nomadic tribes of northeastern Asia in Neolithic times, and it may have played an important role in the practice of the religion of shamanism by these people. The nomads brought the plant and its uses to Western Asia, and then to India. Ancient Indian legend tells how the Hindu god Shiva became angry after a family row, and wandered off into the fields by himself. Exhausted by the heat of the sun, he sought shade and refuge under a leafy plant, and finally went to sleep. On waking, he became curious about the plant that had given him shelter, and ate some of its leaves. This made him feel so refreshed that he adopted it as his favorite food. From then on, Shiva was known as the Lord of Bhang. In ancient Indian texts, Bhang is referred to in the Science of Charms, written between 2000 and 1400 BC, as one of the 5 kingdoms of herbs, which release us from anxiety. Bhang seems to have been popular with the Indian people from the beginning of history. The Indian Hemp Drugs Commission Report, 1894, gave a detailed picture of how Bhang and the more potent cannabis products, ganja and charas, the Indian term for cannabis resin, had become incorporated into Indian life and culture. It took longer for cannabis to reach the West. Hemp was known to the Assyrian civilization both as a fiber plant and as a medicine, and it is referred to as kunubu or kunapu in Assyrian documents of approximately 600 BC. The word is probably the basis of the Arabian kinab and the Greek and Latin cannabis. There is little evidence that the plant was known beyond Turkey until the time of the Greeks. The Greeks used hemp for the manufacture of ropes and sails for their conquering navies, as did the Romans later, although hemp was not cultivated in Greece or Italy, but rather in the further reaches of their empires in Asia Minor. Neither the Greeks nor the Romans, however, appear to have used cannabis for its psychoactive properties, although these were known and described by the Roman physicians Dioscorides, Galen, and Oribasius. Galen, writing in the 2nd century AD, described how wealthy Romans sometimes offered their dinner guests an exotic dessert containing cannabis seeds. There are those who eat it, cannabis seeds, also cooked with other confections. By this confection is meant a sort of dessert which is taken after meals with drinks, for the purpose of exciting pleasure. It creates much warmth, or possibly excitement, and when taken too generously, affects the head, emitting a warm vapor and acting as a drug. Because the seeds contain no significant amounts of psychoactive material, it seems likely that some other parts of the cannabis plant must also have been included. It was to be almost another 1,000 years before cannabis spread to the Arab lands, and then to Europe and the Americas. According to one Arab legend, the discovery of marijuana dates back to the 12th